This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Good Erev Shabbos. We're continuing in our Shiurim on Tefilla, and I'm going to bring up the Maramakoimos. If anybody would like to have the Maramakoimos of the Tefilla Shiurim emailed to them, you could go to our site, rabbidg.com, sign up for the emails, and every Erev Shabbos, as well as Wednesday, the Maramakoimos will be sent to you. So we're here on the email, we're scrolling down, we're going to the Tefilla Maramakoimos. Here we go. We're continuing in the bracha of Yotzer R. I want to share with you some very beautiful ideas on what we call Kedushos Yotzer. We know the two main statements of Kedushos Yotzer are Kadosh, 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 and Baruch Kavod Hashem Mekaymai. So far we had two shiurim on this. We had the approach of Reb Schwab. Reb Schwab learns that there's a big machlokes between the Srafim and the Oifanim and the Chayis HaKodesh. The Srafim, they probe deeper and deeper, and the more they probe, the more they realize Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. God is beyond fathomable. God is beyond our comprehension. And the Oifanim and the Chayis HaKodesh, they vehemently argue with great noise and commotion, and they say no, God is available everywhere. His hashgacha, His purview extends even to the lowest of the low. Baruch Kavod Hashem Mekaymai. Reb Avigdor Miller says that the Srafim are the spark plugs. They begin the process, and they get the Oifanim, the wheels start turning. And when the Oifanim hear that the Srafim say Kadosh, 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 and they talk about how great God is all over the world, they say, if that's how great God is, where His greatness is reflected too, imagine how great He must be in His place. And they say, Baruch Kavod Hashem Mekaymai. Let's talk about why we say Kadosh 3 times. The word Kadosh means nivdal, separate, aloof in a sense, beyond comprehension. Why 3 times? It's to indicate that God is nivdal in 3 dimensions. Number 1, He is not a body. God has no body. He has no physical form. He is non-corporeal. The human being is a body. Now, even the human being has a nefesh. Our living spirit is attached to our body. It may not be a physical substance, but it is attached to a physical substance. And then we have a seichel, we have a neshama, which may not be attached, but it is somewhat connected to. But we say about God, number 1, Kadosh, He's not a guf. Kadosh, He's not even a nefesh that's attached to a guf. Kadosh, He's not even a neshama, an intellect that is somewhat remotely connected to a nefesh. He's beyond, not a guf, not connected to a guf, and no even remote attachment whatsoever. That's the Maral in the Sivay Soilam Nesiv HaPrishos, Parak Aleph. In the Sivay Soilam Nesiv HaAvoida, Parak Yud Aleph, the Maral says something astounding. Every day in Uval Tzion we say Kadosh, 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 and we say the Targum Yonasan. That what are these 3 Kadoshes? Kadosh b'shmei Merayma. He is holy in the upper world. That's Shamayim. Kaddish al Ara. He's holy on earth. Kaddish la'alam l'yomei amaya. He's holy in the highest worlds. According to Targum, the 3 Kadoshes are connected 3 Olamais. One is this world, the Olam HaTachton. One is the Shamayim, and one is the Olam HaElyon. First we talk about the Shamayim, is because we see the Shamayim, but we don't see the Olam Elyon. Connected these 3 worlds, Aretz, Shamayim, the Olam Elyon, we have 3 types of Kedushos that we say. We say Kedusha and Yotzer are. Did you ever realize that in Yotzer we don't say Nekadesh Shemcha Ba'olam Kishem Shemakdishim Oisai Bishmehei Marayim. Do you ever realize only in Shacharis we say Hashem, let us sanctify your name in this world just like they sanctify your name upstairs. We don't do that in Yotzer. In Shacharis, we say, Hashem, we would like to sanctify your name in this world, just like they do upstairs. In Yotzer, we don't say that. We just say what they say. Why? And why is it that only in Yotzer we talk about oifanim? Now, on Shachris and Mincha, and even Shabbos and Yom Tif by Shachris, we say Nekadesh Shemcha Ba'olam. Now, on Shabbos by Musaf, we say Naritzcha v'nakdishcha kesayid siach sarfei kodesh. We don't say Nekadesh Shemcha Ba'olam Kishem Shemakdishim Oisai. We say Na'aritzcha. So we have three Kedushos: Kedushos Yotzer, Kedushos Shachris Umincha, and Kedushos Musaf. Says the Maral of Prague in Nesivos Olam, Nesiva Avodah Park Yud Aleph. He says there are three Kedushos that we have. Number one is Yotzer, where we talk about the Oifanim and the Chayis HaKodesh. Yechezkel describes the Oifanim and the Chayis HaKodesh that they are ba'aretz, on the land. It talks about the eretz by the Chayos and the Oifanim. So if the Oifanim and the Chayis HaKodesh are described as saying Kaddish ba'aretz, therefore, when we say Yotzer Ara, we're talking about the Kaddish of the Oifanim, that's the Kaddish that said Ba'aretz. Ooh, if it's the Kaddish they say Ba'aretz, then we don't say, Hashem, let us sanctify your name just like they do in upstairs. Because we're not talking about the Kaddish they say upstairs. We're talking about Kaddish al-Ara. And Kaddish al-Ara, the Iker Kaddish is Yisrael. So therefore we don't invoke them that we should do what they do. We just say what they do. The second type of Kaddish is Nekadesh Shemcha Ba'olam Kishem Shemakdishim Oisai B'Shmei Maraim. Therefore, this is Keneged Kaddish B'Shmei Maraima, the Kaddish in Shamayim. So we say, Hashem, let's sanctify your name in this world just like they do B'Shmei Maraim. The third Kedusha is Naritzcha v'nakdishcha. That's the Kedusha Keneged Olam HaElyon. Therefore we say Naritzcha v'nakdishcha kesoid siach sarfei kodesh, which are the Malachim. Now, here's the $1 million question. By the way, it was worthwhile for you to get up this morning just to hear this. Kaddish in Shemona Esrei, Kedusha de Amida, we say Kadosh, Baruch, Yimlaich. And in Yotzer we just say Kadosh, Baruch, and we don't say Yimlaich. Why don't we say Yimlaich? Says the Shlach HaKadosh. And I don't think this is consistent with what the Maral says. And he's quoting the Zayar. The Srafim say Kadosh. The Chayos and the Oifanim, they say Baruch. Yisrael says Yimlaich. You hear this? Kadosh is the praise of the Srafim. Baruch is the praise of the Oifanim and the Chayos HaKodesh. And the Jewish people say Yimlaich. Now that's only by Kedusha de Amida, because then Klal Yisrael are Mekadshim Umamlichim Lemata. But this Kedusha of Yotzer, Klal Yisrael is not Mekadesh, they're just saying over what the Malachim do. Which I'm not sure is consistent with what the Maral said, that the Kadosh of Yotzer is the Kadosh of Ara, and there Yisrael is Iker. Could mean it means we're Iker, but we're still just saying over what they say. as opposed to when we're standing, we do our own independent Kadosh, which is Yimlech. Now this is also interesting, the Shlach Kadosh says. We say, Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzavakos, Malay Haaretz Kevaydai, Malay Kal Haaretz Kevaydai, or Miloi Kal Haaretz Kevaydai. Is it Malay or Miloi? Now let's take a poll. Raise your right hand if you think it's Malay. Raise your left hand if you think it's Malay. Okay. Very good. It's Malay. What's the difference between Malay and Malay? Malay means to fill up, like V'kvoid Hashem Malay, to fill up the interior. Malay, with a chaylam, is not only to fill up the interior, but even the walls itself are full of it. It's gathering, conglomerating, Meloi Chol Haaretz. That God's kavod is a gathering of everything in this world. Chai, Tzoimeach, Doimeim. Not only is Hashem fill the airspace, but His kavod is a conglomerate of all the kavod that fills up this world. Another interesting thing is that the Roikeach writes, V'yifanim l'chayis ha'kodesh b'rasham misnasim li'umas serafim. So we would think it means li'umas serafim. By the way, the Tefilla Shiur, I'm sorry I didn't mention earlier, is dedicated by our dear friend Los Angeles, Rabbi Tzala Rose, Lilay Nishmas, his brother. Tzvi ben Levi Yitzchak, his neshama she'aven aliyah. Le'uma serafim does not mean opposite the serafim mamish, but rather opposite their resounding voice, because the serafim are oimed mima'aloi, which we darshan 36,000 myriads of Parsha. The chayos are under the kisei hakavod. Lu'uma serafim doesn't mean they raise themselves up mamish to the serafim, but rather it means they raise themselves up opposite the voice of the serafim. So it seems like the serafim are on top, and beneath them are the chayos hakodesh. Rav Levi Yitzchak of Barditchev in Parshas Vayechi, he says that it is worthy for everyone to think before every prayer, how many angels are there? An angel could rule over a whole world. An angel is tremendous in size, but compared to an oifan, is like a speck of salt. And as big as an oifan is like a speck of salt to a chaya. And a chaya to the kisei hakavod. And all of these enormous entities that are billions of times larger than the sun, they spend all their time saying, Aye mekayim kavodai, where is the glory of God? Says Rav Levi Yitzchak of Barditchev, man, listen to what you yourself are saying. That all of these gigantic entities, with love, with clarity, and with awe and fear, they do the will of Hashem. And we, who are smaller than an amoeba compared to them, if they are trembling before the Creator, then how we should melt in Ema and Yira before the Melech Gadol, and all of our Ivarim should be Mizdazeya. Okay, Rabbi Isai, I thank you all for joining me today. If you want to join us for the Shiur on Pirkei Avos, that's going to be today at 12:30. You could come back here, same channel, 12:30, Pirkei Avos. Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Kol Tov. Baruch Tiyah. Kol tov, kol tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.